it's time now to review the headlines of today's newspapers with the Ombudsman of This Day and Arise Media Group and This Day Newspaper Limited's Group Executive Director, Zakade Komolafe. KK, happy Sunday.
Yeah, good morning, Adisa.
Good to see you.
Great to see you again.
Good morning, KK.
Good morning, Steve.
Good to have you around.
Yeah.
All right, let's go straight into the newspaper. I will start, as always, with This Day. On Sunday, the newspaper of record. The lead story on the cover today says, "Your resignation, a betrayal of sacred trust. Kwakwanso and Nnpp tell Governor Yusuf." And the riders, Kano APC reserves membership card number 001 for Yusuf. I believe just like they did in River State for Sim Fubara. Kwakwanso, January 23 is World Betrayal Day. That's Kwakwanso saying that this man that I brought from nowhere to come and fly the flag of Nnpp, and he eventually emerged after a very, tense election in 2023, has now betrayed us, and that January 23rd will be termed henceforth to the Kwankwasia movement World Betrayal Day. We discussed this earlier in the program, and of course it's part of the build-up to the 2027 general elections, where everybody seems to, all roads now lead to APC. Save for, I believe, about 6 or 5 governors left, 4 in PDP, 1 in Labour, 1 in Accord, and 1 in Abga. So that should be about 6.
I do forget the Accord. I do. I forgot that happened.
Yes, Accord, yes.
Accord,
formerly PDP. Yeah. I did forget that happened. I did.
So, interesting. We move on top of that story, Gbajabi Amila, as the Chief of Staff to the President. Nigeria's survival in unstable global environment depends on national unity. And there are 2 key riders there. Says prolonged disunity heightens nation's exposure to economic security risks. Ex-lawmakers endorse Tinubu for 2027. Demand constitutional backing for power rotation. That story is on page 5. And of course, if we tie that to the cover picture, mega endorsement for Tinubu 2027, showing the Minister of Interior, Olubume Tuji Ojo, the Deputy Senate President, Jibril Barau, and of course, Gbajabi Amila himself, the Forum of Former Federal Legislators, where President Bola Tinubu was adopted for 2nd term in Abuja. So politics has started in earnest. We were looking last year when we were saying, it was too early. Now we're in 2026. It's the year that the candidates will emerge. It is the year that, what's it called? Campaigns will start in earnest before the elections in 2027. So, KK, when your admonition comes about, for the editors to weigh the choice of what to lead the story with, the stories are here. Politics is here. And therefore, the editors want their papers sold, and read online. So, that's where we are now. And of course, your views on that will be appreciated. There are a few other stories. The strip on top of the masthead, U.S. Congressman commends Nigeria-U.S. security cooperation to protect religious freedom. From boots on the ground will come, with gun blazing, but to sitting down together, 3 meetings between November and now, it looks like diplomacy, can triumph, even in the face of major uncertainty.
Perhaps the lobbyists did earn their pay.
You mean the $9 million lobby?
Yes.
I don't think that KK will agree with you. but don't quote me. The story on the window...
Of course I don't.
The story on the window, at $46.01 billion, Nigeria's foreign reserves hit highest peak since 2018. Strengthening FX buffers. And then the writer says that banks' credit to the private sector drops by 2.8% to 75.8 trillion naira. We shouldn't end the cover stories on this day today without mentioning, the one that is on celebratory note on page 59 of today's paper. Amosun, that's the former governor of Ogun State, and an immutable force in Ogun politics at 68. Sia, as it's called, the governor who, as they say, who likes to dazzle, razzle-dazzle. He's 68, 2 years away, from being 70. And these days, rightly celebrating him, with this important article there. Amosun, an immutable force in Ogun politics at 68. Happy birthday to him and congratulations. He's still very much active in the political firmament of Nigeria.
We have a party later today in Abeokuta.
I guess if he's in Abeokuta, not in Abuja, but of course he will want to touch base, with his own people. KK, those are the stories. Interesting ones they are, I believe.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I think it will be in order to join you on the celebratory note, and that's to say, happy birthday to Senator Ibukunle Amosun. He's been a two-term governor of Ogun State. Yeah. He's been a senator of the Federal Republic, and a very formidable politician at that. So happy birthday to Senator Amosun, and wishing him long life in good health and in peace. Yeah, the story gave me to use Steve Watt. Again, it's a potpourri, this a mix,
Yes, there's politics, there's business.
Exactly.
2027.
But maybe,
and then the day of betrayal.
Maybe I will disappoint Steve by starting not with the political story, which of course is the lead story, but actually starting with the security story, Okay. Yeah. Why? Because we tend to discuss security when it's the emergency. We hear a story, 100 kidnapped, 1 kidnapped. Yes, which I agree with. It should also be highlighted, should be discussed. But when we see what maybe similarly, on a positive note, or at least a trend towards the solution, and not just discussing the problem. Yeah. When we see an indication of working on the solution, I think it is important to also pay some attention to it, and that is why I say that it is commendable. That again to echo to Steve that we have now we have transited from the mode of guns blazing now to that of engagement. Yeah. And it's also remarkable that the acknowledgement is coming from the other side. Yes. So that, like this one we say that, so that it will not be a question of the job of the PR. So it's not from the PR. It's not from the PR.
What she's saying is that this may actually have fun.
I'm deliberately giving that a right of reply.
That our money is working.
No, and I'm also saying that we should also note that this statement this time around is not from the PR. I mean from the PR consultants of federal government, but actually from the American side. Which
you don't think is a product of lobby?
Well, that is a matter for another day. But still on that, if you permit, is that we should also go beyond that. That this engagement, apart from the fact that we try to explain, our situation, to make clarification to America, that we should be able to get more support. Because, like you said, which I agree with the federal government position that what we face, we have insecurity. People, not even only Nigerians, people residents in Nigeria, face insecurity, killings take place, and the victims, they are not necessarily of a particular ethnic group or religion, but it's nationwide. So the help we need is to keep Nigeria, secure, to keep Nigeria safe. For everybody. So if the outcome of this engagement will be that America, will help, in strengthening our capacity to be able to deal with the very serious problem of insecurity that we are facing, then it will be good. So I'm just trying to say that it should go beyond, PR, the thought of PR, but also to be able to attract, support, to bolster the capacity of our security and defense agencies to be able to tackle insecurity and keep Nigerians safe. Absolutely. As is expected of the government of Nigeria, according to the Constitution, that is the responsibility of government to ensure the security, and welfare, of everybody. So I think it's on a positive note, and then all we can say is that they should continue on that path, and then, strengthen, the engagement, where we'll expect more results. Yeah. Now, to the political stories, again, I would also like to even start with the story of the gathering of ex-lawmakers, where the chief of staff of the president, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, spoke. And in doing so again, I also want to differentiate between policy and politics. That even on that occasion, yes, we can also separate an issue of policy there, which is one that actually interests me. The chief of staff was calling that, emphasizing the subject of national unity.
Correct.
And I'm saying that even though, because this is a matter that is it's an invisible, so when you talk of policy, people talk of, you build bridges, you build road, yes, okay, those are also outcome of policy. But I think the subject, the matter of national integration, which is a duty imposed on government by the Chapter 2 of Nigerian Constitution, to promote national unity, national integration, it should be a matter of policy for every government.
Yes.
At all levels. So just as you are enunciating your economic policy, your infrastructural policy, your policy on agriculture, also the steps being taken, to promote, national integration, to promote national unity, should be a matter of policy, for every government, such that both in action and in words, virtually in every step that the government takes, that you should be able to see that it's towards promoting, national integration. So I think what Honorable Gbajabiamila, said is quite in order, and I think it is a thing that, governments, by the way, at all levels, should, take seriously. Because when you talk of unity, even within a state, like we have, for instance, some of the issues of insecurity, that we'll talk about, in some of them, exactly that. It has to do, with element of disunity, even within a particular state, especially when you have, when there's multi-ethnic, multi-religious. So that political leadership should see the promotion of national unity as a matter of policy to be pursued. Yeah.
I want to ask you a question.
Yes,
because
please,
I was reading, I was listening to and reading Gbajabiamila's comments, and he is Speaker of the House of Representatives, and he spoke about how the House of Representatives, the National Assembly, is essentially proof of the unity of Nigeria, that people come, with their differences and still are able to work together. And it's essentially what Nigeria should be, is that people from all cultures and walks of life and tribes and different economies should be able to work together towards a common goal, which is the Nigerian goal. And how it's important, particularly now with all the change that's going on in the world, is that the world sees us as one Nigerians, and it's up to us to see us as see ourselves as one as well. And that's the policy that you've spoken about. But then the politics entered. The politics being, let us entrench the sharing formula in our constitution, that it must rotate. There's entrenched rotation, right? And this is coming also, and I think it's because I want to ask that sometimes when we have good policy and good ideas, once the politics enters, it seems we go to the lowest common denominator. Because why it seems antithetical in a speech where we're trying to push unity, trying to push a cooperation and collaboration amongst all Nigerians, that there is now a call about rotation.
Yeah, a very valid question. Yeah. But I'm afraid maybe I'd like to, first of all, raise an objection to what I said. And this one is something that I'm a bit passionate about. In the course of this, you refer to Nigeria as made up of many tribes, I dare say that there are no tribes in Nigeria. I think Nigeria we insult ourselves when we say we are tribes.
Yeah.
There are no tribes in Nigeria. We have ethnic groups, ethnic nationalities. Even there are groups that even call themselves nations legitimately. You know, racist sociologists, you know, gave us that tag. And it's very unfortunate that 66 years after independence, we still regard ourselves as tribes. You know,
it's our national anthem now.
Which is you are right. Which is a national embarrassment. You know, because that thing was written by the draft was made by a foreigner, and that we still retain it. That the tongues are tribes are. You know, this is is insulting, you know. So what we have in Nigeria are ethnic groups. They are not, you know, like I always say that when you go to other countries, when Britain, they have, you know, I mean, issues of what is it called, you know, nationalism within the UK. But you don't see anybody saying that I belong to Scottish tribe or Irish tribe or West tribe. You know, I mean, they claim that they are nations, you know, as they are. So in the same way, when you have millions of people, you know, in a group, and then you call them a tribe, you know, it's insulting.
The word tribe is pejorative?
It is pejorative. It is insulting. It is insulting. And sociologically, if you want to prove that, there are no tribes in Nigeria. When you talk of a tribe, when you belong to a tribe, you may not even be aware of any other thing beyond that tribe. That is your universe. We're talking of a primitive society, you know, that people they may not even be aware of the next group, you know, to them, you know. So in Nigeria, there are no tribes. We have ethnic groups, we have ethnic nationalities, and we have even nations, you know, within, you know, a nation, you know. In the same way, this, you know, which we also use, which is also is.
Can I quickly, if you don't mind, KK, can I quickly read what how the dictionary describes tribe? A social division in a traditional society consisting of families or communities linked by social, economic, religious, or blood ties with a common culture and dialect, typically having a recognized leader. Indigenous Indian tribes. That's an example.
Exactly. And in the same way, sorry, Steve, if you don't mind, you can also check the dictionary. The meaning of this word that we use often, detribalize, is the greatest insult you can give to a person to say that it's detribalized. To be detribalized, check the dictionary. You can just read it. It means that you are being delinked from your primitive tribe and be brought to the urban civilization. So when you say Nigeria, actually what you mean to say is that person has a nationalistic outlook, it's not chauvinistic, he has a broader...
It says to remove particularly someone from a traditional tribal social structure. These policies, that's an example, these policies attempted to detribalize native people by extricating them from their land base.
Well, I mean, we often use words contextually without knowing the actual meaning in our environment. Yes.
So if you want to pay compliments to me, don't tell me I'm detribalized. Say I'm not chauvinistic. It's not complimentary to say that you're detribalized. Yes. So on the yes, I see the point you are making. I think we should see the nation building, you know, is an evolutionary process. You know, of course, you don't know the conclusion. So I think the idea of rotation, by the way, you know, remarkably, it's not in the Constitution. It is a device, you know, is a device, you know, by political parties.
Yes.
First of all, as a matter of political calculus, that is, they are trying to look at areas where they could, a particular section where they could get votes. Then two, I also see it as an instrument, you know, maybe unconsciously, of promoting national integration. You know that, you know, it's just something similar to affirmative action. So it can only be a transitory mechanism in the procedure, you know. So I don't foresee that it's going to be something that's going to be forever. You know, in fact, I don't foresee, I don't pray that, you know, the Nigerian politics in 30 years, you know, 40 years from now, that you'll still be talking of rotation. Because if we have achieved so much at the level of national integration, you know. So I see the point. But if you look at it from a transitory viewpoint, maybe we may not need to worry. But I agree with you that I agree with you that it is contradictory.
Yes.
But the period of transition, philosophically, is a period of contradiction, because the old order is yielding and the new order is coming in. So you have a flux.
Okay, let's quickly look at this style so that we can manage time properly.
Let's look at this day style. Please, can you bring this day style on?
Is this style?
Yes, this day style. On the cover, we have Audio Oseni. She is celebrating 30 years of Audio Mimone. Audio Mimone at 30. It says, for more than 3 decades, Audio Mimone has been a steady presence in African fashion, shaped by culture, conviction, and a belief that clothing is a form of identity. The brand was founded by Audio Oseni, whose earliest memories of the name come from childhood, when she would walk around the house singing it. It was only later that the name became a label, yet the early act of writing it down already showed how art and imagination would shape her life. Now, that is celebrating one of the legends of maybe Nigerian fashion, 30 years of Audio Mimone. Honestly, doing anything for 30 years and doing anything successfully for 30 years is worth celebrating. But I also think it's very beautiful to see a lot of those who started a Nigerian, like the resurgence of Nigerian fashion in this modern era, get their flowers, and also get it when Nigerian fashion is being seen more and more on the world stages. Without the Lisa Folawiyos and the Audio Mones, without the Tiffany Ambers, we would not have the Andrea Iyamas of today and the Banker Cuckoos of today. We wouldn't have... And so what we're seeing now, if we're seeing American superstars or Hollywood movies featuring young Nigerian women brands who, a lot of these people I've just spoken about, they're probably between 30 and 40 years old. But like Koinsola Onolaja and stuff. But, they weren't born when the Audio Mones were starting out. But they basically laid the groundwork for them. And I think it shows Nigerian soft power, but also what's possible out of just one person's vision and dedication to work and to art.
Absolutely. I mean, 2 quick things for me, basically just to, congratulate her 30 years, consistency and everything. But the 2 quick things is even, to also congratulate this style, because that's a major platform that has been consistent in celebrating those who are pushing the frontiers as far as our fashion, industry is concerned. And to also say that, just like Afrobeat and the new Nigerian music, and of course Nollywood have done quite well globally. Yes. We shouldn't also forget the fashion aspect, and it's not coming as at a distant third. It's part of the leading pop culture, if you like, identities that they are really making us proud globally, and therefore this is the point that this style is all about. Celebrate them and let the world know what we are doing. That's a good one. KK.
Yeah. Thank you for the illumination that you're giving to the story. I quite agree with you. And Steve, too, I also join you in commending the editors of this day style, for the topicality of that cover. Absolutely. And my observation too is that they're very consistent, in focusing, on that aspect of our life, and society,
It's very
I think it's a great job. Yeah.
Yes.
It's very
so readers will find it. If I mean the cliche, a collector's item.
Okay, let's quickly look at the Sunday Telegraph, and there's a reason why I think that the cover of Telegraph today is important, not just for the quality of the stories there, but also, okay, we don't have Telegraph, but it's important to point 1 or 2 things out. There are interesting stories there. Shetima, who's saying that Nigeria is firmly back on global economic frontline. But there's a story on the cover of Telegraph, KK, and I know that you have read it. It's promoted on the cover of Telegraph. It says Ajimobi, showing the picture of the wife of the former governor, and also an ambassador designate. Makinde should prepare for coalition. We're ready for him. That story has gone viral all of yesterday, and it turned out to be AI from what the from what Mrs. Ajimobi herself and her team put out late last night to say that, no, I mean, people should be careful that she never uttered any words to suggest that there will be war against PDP, that the APC in Oyo State is ready. Maybe a bit of more clarity is needed, but then if it turns out that it's AI, and you have a major newspaper like Telegraph putting it on cover, you know, if it were in those days, KK, you know that an editor will be struggling to retain, you know, his or her seat, you know, given. But of course, the larger picture is that how do we deal with the confusion that AI brings to our profession, you know, at a time that people are always trying to rush out, you know, to break the news. This is an example of why editors and reporters will need to be careful, and that online journalism is not just about, you know, cutting and pasting. KK, few 30 seconds before we go.
It's an ethical crisis, you know, that we really have to confront, you know. And that is where it's unfortunate that while we are enthusiastic about the embrace of AI, you know, here, you know, we hardly pay attention to the dark side,
absolutely,
you know, of it, you know, which is not to say that we should not do the embrace, but that we should be critical, we should be conscious, you know. Of the dark
because
side,
if you see a video like that, you're not sure whether it is AI or not. The first thing that an editor should do is to confirm. Did you utter this?
That is the ethical, the professional.
Absolutely, which is why I said that. You know,
it's quite unfortunate. Yeah, you are right.
The next thing we need now is AI legislation. We need a legislative framework with how to handle and deal with this new world order, because we already are in a low trust society. If we cannot trust what we see, if we do not know where things come from, we're going to be in trouble. And how to identify, you know, what constitutes fake.
Exactly.
You know, at the time
but
that
like you said, the old method still valid.
Absolutely.
That a story is not a story until you confirm it.
Leave out when in doubt. KK, we want to thank you for today's episode again, edition
Lovely
of the Morning Show.
Yes.
Lovely, absolutely fantastic Sunday.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, and that brings us to the end of the Morning Show today. Thank you for watching, and do stay safe. I'm Steve Ayorinde.
I'm Adeso Agiwa-Sagi, and from our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.